All right, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us again for our weekly town hall meeting on 1341 on the Springmore In-House TV channel. I hope everyone's doing well. Again, it's very odd to sit in this empty auditorium to talk to so many of you, but not to see many of you. So I do miss seeing y'all. I've not seen many people lately, so as much as I don't like that, I'm glad to see everybody's kind of staying inside and doing what's been recommended. We'll talk more about that here in a little bit, but it's definitely different. It's very odd not to see many of y'all, but thank you for the ones that are still calling, sending emails, or dropping by the office with any questions that you may have when you're checking the mail. So thank you just again for your continued support and patience during this. I have had so many, I said it last time, I'll say it again, I've had so many compliments from our staff, from housekeeping to dining, a lot of compliments, and maintenance to everybody, just very thankful for everything, and I really appreciate it. It is very, very meaningful, and it goes a long way during this time. So many people have showed support for healthcare workers, and that's nice, you know, just to be recognized by so many people, but know that we're doing it for you is the most important thing, and knowing that y'all are being cared for. Hopefully y'all feel safe and healthy. That is most important. So I wanted to start off with some good news. Hopefully you can't hear this in the video, but below us, we can hear a jackhammer going pretty heavy right now. They're making good progress in the kitchen. They're having to jackhammer up the floor to pour the epoxy concrete. We were hoping to be able to pour the epoxy over the existing tiles, but they were too old and crumbly, so we're just having to take it up. So got an update from the contractor today. Hope to have that done late this week, pour some epoxy next week, and then hopefully be in the new kitchen hopefully by early May. So don't quote me on that. Something could go terribly wrong tomorrow, but they are making progress. I can hear it now, so hopefully we'll kind of continue to keep you updated with that good stuff as well. There's three things I want to accomplish today in the meeting, and it's to provide some updates, provide some information on some changes we've made, and we're going to take questions again. I don't know if that was publicized until today, but we are going to take phone calls again today at 7054. I do ask that you please hold those phone calls until we're done. I'm going to go through about 3 pages worth of notes, so hopefully I'll answer some of your questions. The ones I don't answer, I'll take those, and hopefully I can answer about half like I did last time. The other half I'll get back to you. I'm going to try to remind myself to talk slow. I know that was an issue last time, so I'll try to talk slow and clear, and we'll get started. All right, so the first update I want to talk about is the mail. The mail's been very trying, but we have, I think a good temporary solution, and it's really been the residents helping with that. That has been tremendous from everybody that's really pitched in to do that. I have spoke to the congressman, to the local postmaster, to everybody, and even to the mailman himself. It's a very nice guy. I think his name's Steve, and very nice. And he informed me that he would not have any problem having his temperature taken and answering the questions. However, he's been instructed not to do that by his postmaster, and he would be in trouble if he did do that. So what transpired when we first started with the mail was we had some replacement people in Steve's place that refused to do the screening. So when Steve came in, he didn't do the screening either because he was told not to. So if he started doing it, then we had the replacement, then Steve's going to get in trouble, and it's just a debacle. I don't want the man to get in trouble. I don't want him to lose his job. I wish he'd abide by our rules, but he's doing what he's told. I get it. So we are continuing to do what we're doing now. I just want to thank the volunteers. I know there's been some concern about helping with the mail. I think we have a good system now. We have certain people handling first-class mail, second and third-class mail. So I think we have some dedicated people that's doing that every day. So again, y'all are the best volunteers, resident volunteers, and as residents helping residents. So we're going to continue to do that until we find a better solution. We're working with Leah with that, but I feel good about it now. And as soon as that changes, I'll provide some more updates on the mail. So hopefully you're getting everything just as quick as you can. Remember to use your in-house mailbox for everything, for memos or anything of that nature. Next, I want to talk about dining. Again, I've had a lot of good compliments about that. I know it's not been perfect, and I think a lot of people realize that, which has been very comforting. But we know that there's some changes we need to make, so we're going to do that, and I'll talk about that. I did want to mention that the portal is going very well, I think, for most people. Daniel's had a lot of people sign up for the portal since we started this. I think we've had more people sign up in the past week or so than we probably have the entire time we started the portal. So I hope that you have had the opportunity to go on the portal if you have access to a computer or smartphone and try the online ordering templates. There was a little confusion at first. I hope that's been cleared up. I really appreciate the residents that have had the concerns, sending them to Jennifer. She keeps me aware of everything, but she was able to clear that up. I think if there's still an issue, please let me know. But the online forms are going very well. The paper formats we're going to change up a little bit to make it easier. It's kind of what y'all have probably been doing maybe recently. We tried to have some central stations and the menus posted in 4 different sets that you would write your menus down. So, that was a good attempt. That was a good try. So we're going to use a hybrid approach with that. We're still going to have the stations where you go out, the central locations. But instead of having those 4 packets to sign up and the menu posted, you're going to have, there's going to be a stack of sheets with 4 days worth of menus on there. So it's going to be kind of like a long, maybe not 11 by 17, but the next size up, maybe it's a legal size. And it's going to have, day 1, 2, 3, and 4. And you're just going to take each day and you're just going to circle what you want like you were doing before. So we will collect those. We'll cut them in force, and that will be the ticket that you use. So, again, it's keeping the central location of coming out, not having to do door-to-door. It's cutting down on the paper because we're doing it every 4 days with the menus on there for 4 days. But it's hopefully correcting a lot of the confusion it was causing. So I'm hoping that will be easier for everybody. Y'all should see that starting this week, if not started already. But that will be much easier for y'all to do, and I don't think that's going to be a problem. If it is, please don't hesitate to call Jennifer or George in dining. They're here to help you. We've had staff out at all the locations, so we're here to help. Another thing I wanted to mention that we were working on, and I can't remember if I mentioned it last time or not, was trying to add a Sunday option for dining, for supper, moving forward. We always had the big Sunday lunch, but not having the grills or bistro open at the time, there's not any other way to get food at Springmore unless you have groceries in your apartment. So we decided we wanted to come up with an idea of doing some kind of like box supper. So we're going to do a sandwich option every Sunday. It will start this Sunday. And the option to circle it will be at the bottom of the menu if you want it. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of selections of doing ham or roast beef or turkey or pimento cheese or tuna salad. We're going to do 1 sandwich a week. We may add some more in the future, but again, we're not wanting to bite off more than we can chew. So we're going to start with 1 sandwich option, and it's going to be a sandwich. It'll be a cookie. And it will be either pasta salad, potato salad, coleslaw, some type of side, and that will be a la carte. So you won't be charged your full amount. It'll be charged like the grill, a sandwich, and then each side. So all you have to do is circle what you want, and we'll get it to you. Not sure how we're going to do the delivery yet. If it's going to be delivered when your lunch is delivered at the same time, you can put it in the fridge, or if it'll be a separate delivery time. I think it's going to be a separate delivery time just due to the amount of pure volume that we have delivering meals on Sunday. Adding another meal may be a little too much all at once, but you will get your food, and I'll have some more information about if it's going to be delivered at lunchtime or at supper time for that evening meal. We're going to continue for now to keep the bistros and the grills closed. We're having to utilize staff a lot for the ordering, of how we're doing the ordering, how we're customizing it and putting them together, and how we build them and how we deliver them. It's really neat to just see the dining area during mealtime. It's like an old factory. It's like an old-fashioned factory or assembly line. I mean, it starts with a ticket to one item to the next, and it goes all the way down, and it's boxed and it's bagged, and it goes on a cart. When they get so many, they take it off. They have this amazing system. So it's really great. So we don't want to bite off more than we can chew. So maybe in the future, when things lighten up a little bit with some of the restrictions, the shelter in place, we'll open the grill and the bistros back up for some specific takeout times. But for now, we're going to continue to keep those closed. Another issue that I'm sure y'all probably figured out by now, but I thought it'd be worth mentioning, plus some more helpful information hopefully for you. We've had to postpone our Spectrum implementation of the new cable boxes. Of course, it would have to happen when some once-in-a-lifetime pandemic hits us, but we had finally got Spectrum, set date for them to come in and switch out your cable boxes so you can have upgraded cable. More importantly, the ACC network. But, I'm starting to find out a lot of these things are happening at good times. If there is a good time, there's nothing to watch on the ACC network except old reruns, maybe, which may be beneficial. But no tournament, no baseball, no nothing. So hopefully we will have the Spectrum up and going with that network before any type of sporting events start back. So we have had to push that back. I just wanted to make sure everybody was aware of that. And also, I want to remind you, if you're getting any bills from Spectrum that you normally do not receive, so if you get an extra bill, like if you have an internet bill or extended cable package or a DVR package that you normally get, that's fine. But a lot of residents are getting bills that they should not be for the basic cable. They're saying that they're late. They're going to be turned into collections. Once we made this switch, the whole system is just a huge company with thousands of employees, and again, it's just not a perfect switchover. So we're addressing that. Randy has done a fantastic job with that. I've tried to just throw my 2 cents in when I can. I've asked for them to personally call or write you a letter of apology if that happens. I don't know if that'll happen. The main thing is to get y'all's bill straight so you're not hassled with it. But let Randy help you with that. He's here to do that. You can call him at 7052, and you'll probably need to bring that down to him so he can actually have a hard copy, and he can scan it and send it to Spectrum to make sure it's all changed. So that's all the updates I had I wanted to go over. So I wanted to go into a couple of changes that we're going to start implementing this week. Some is starting as early as tomorrow, and some starting Friday. Unfortunately, we've continue to have outside visitors come into our independent living for one reason or another. Now, I'm not talking about contractors or healthcare employees that are screened, but continue to get information from residents about family members continuing to come in, seeing kids in the hall, going to get residents, taking them out. So I had really hoped that everybody would abide by that and hopefully tell their family that they couldn't come in. So that has just not been the case, unfortunately. And, and I understand it's not perfect, and people want to see their loved one. I'd be the same way. But I have to do all I can to make sure y'all are safe. So starting tomorrow at 8 o'clock, or starting tomorrow when they unlock the doors, all the entrances will be, the sensors will be turned off for the sliding glass door. So they're not going to be hard locked, so I'll tell you that right now. They're not going to all be hard locked, but it's going to be like at 8 or 9 o'clock when you come back to Springmore and you got to pry the doors open. So I realize a lot of y'all have pets, and I realize a lot of y'all maybe want to walk out to the closest entrance to walk for a breath of fresh air, but unfortunately, the people coming in is continuing to be a hindrance, and it's putting everybody in jeopardy of bringing things in. So we're trying to discourage that even more. It may go to where they're completely locked, but the whole idea is to encourage everyone to please come through the main entrance of North Village or the main entrance of South Village. So again, starting tomorrow morning when they unlock all the doors, the sensors to the outside doors of all the main entrances at East, West, Valley, Creedmoor, they will be turned off, so you have to pry the door open, and all secondary entrances will be hard locked. So any A, B, C, D entrances or people can kind of sneak in, we're going to have to lock those. So please be mindful of that. again, we're doing that with the stay-at-home order, the shelter-in-place that was issued by the state and by Wake County. So we're just trying to help that. Again, we're not locking you in. If you leave, you have every right to do so. You have, and that's kind of the beauty of it. You can still go to the grocery store if you want to. You can still go to the pharmacy. You can still go pick up food. We encourage you to limit that to only things that's just a pure necessity. But we can't stop you from doing that, and just like I have to do it myself. So if you have to leave out your entrance, you'll have to pry the door open and push it back or go out the main entrance, and I'm very sorry for that. And normally I don't let a few things spoil it for everybody, but the chance is too great with people continuing to come in the entrances to continue to allow that. So that's going to start tomorrow. The next thing that we're having to take some stricter measures on is gatherings. I know that residents are continuing to gather here at Springmore, and as much as I don't want to police that or have to be the bad guy to say, no, you can't, I've got to discourage it all I can. So we're going to be shutting and locking all the parlors areas. That's what we feel like we can do to help with social distancing and help with the no gatherings that's been issued by Wake County. We are following now the strictest of measures with things. So that was the one that was recently recommended, to have no gatherings at all. Now, common areas like the Emmons room and off the elevators, those are common areas, and I can't lock those off, nor do I want to. So you can still sit on a couch 6 feet from each other and talk, and it's just like I was reading about, what are policemen going to do if they see a gathering of people? They're going to tell them to shoo away. So there's nothing I can, I can't give you a ticket or kick you out or anything, but I'm strongly asking and strongly encouraging you to please not gather in a group. It's been very serious. I've taken this very serious to hear the president go back on what he said about not opening the country till the end of April, and really encouraging the social distancing from Dr. Fauci, and hearing what Mandy Cohen's been saying, that's the only way this is going to stop. So I feel like I have to do everything I can to prevent the gatherings and promote the social distancing. So that's why we've decided to close the parlors, to make sure we're keeping everybody as safe as possible. So I regret that, but that's something we feel we needed to do. But another thing we're going to stop the end of Friday is our small group exercise classes with the no gatherings. I can't shut parlors and say you can't play bridge and not do exercise classes. So we're going to stop those Friday. The only reason we've continued to do those until Friday is we have a schedule out until then. So I wanted to honor that schedule. I realize y'all are going to be pretty much confined to your room like we're confined to our house. And that's, again, I wish I could, stretch that as long as possible. So I've instructed Kerry to stop those Friday. So we'll let those go until Friday, and then those will stop. I'm going to read a statement from Kerry just so you'll know. So I'm just going to, may have covered some of this, but I want to read word for her. It says, the fitness staff will provide the scheduled small group exercise classes through this Friday. After Friday, the groups will be discontinued. Please call 7147 if you'd like to borrow handheld exercise equipment to keep in your home. The fitness staff will deliver the equipment to you, and they can provide handouts or home exercise programs if needed. There are a couple of pieces of exercise equipment available to use in the North Village Great Room and South Village Terrace Room. This includes one bike and one new step in each location. Please wash your hands before coming to exercise and use the provided wipes to clean the machines when you're done. So we've had those machines in those common areas for about a week now. I think that's fine. If you're in there, that's not a social gathering. You're kind of doing that on your own. So that's about as all that we could think to continue doing. Kerry's going to, when things get warmer, maybe going outside, and small, of doing some promoting walking outside and having some maybe some certain courses to go along throughout the campus to promote that. So she's going to continue to be creative. She's been extremely creative, and that's something that we've altered probably 3 or 4 times. So again, we're having to alter it again to stop the classes, but we're still going to keep the equipment, and then hopefully some news soon about how we can implement some activities outside as the weather continues to be nice. All right, the last change I want to talk about before we take any calls are the quarantine rules that we're going to be implementing starting today for all of Independent and Stewart Health Center residents for certain circumstances. So I'll try to be as clear as I can on this, and to let you know what we need to do as far as a 14-day period for independent living and for skilled nursing. So I'm going to start off with independent living because that pretty much pertains to everybody watching. We do have a good many residents who do have spouses in the health center, so some of this will pertain to them afterwards, and it could pertain to you if you go to the hospital and then have to go to the Stewart Health Center. So first of all, with any new admission coming into Springmore, which we only have 2 in the month of April, which are already scheduled, that we have honored because they have already pre-planned this, sold houses, leases up, all that good stuff. They will continue to come to Springmore. The good news is one is in a house, so they'll be secluded there to the house. The other one is inside the building. However, this resident will be quarantined for 14 days. She's already been made aware of this. We will have to drop off her menus for her, circle them, pick them up. We'll have to drop off her mail for her, and the clinic will do daily calls to check on her. So again, we've had to honor this move-in, but we are going to make her abide by the quarantine of any person coming into the community. Again, we don't have anybody else planned to come in April, May, or June. I'm not sure. A lot of people are kind of holding those off, but these have been pre-planned way before, so there's not much we can do to stop those, but we can implement what we're going to be doing for all the residents for anybody new coming in. So again, the 2 new people that will be coming in, one to a house, one to an apartment, they'll be quarantined for 14 days. So, and of course, screened when they first come in. So I don't want anybody to worry about that. That was a question that came up yesterday, and that was very good. If you have to go to the ER, or if you have a hospital stay overnight that's not an outpatient procedure, not at the actual hospital, you're going to have to be required to a 14-day quarantine. So that has been suggested, and that has been a best practice amongst all the communities that we associate with. Again, when you go to the hospital, if you go to the ER, you just come in contact with so many people. And I understand you have to go. I may have to go. Somebody from my staff may have to go. We have to do the same type stuff. So if you do have to go to the ER for 1 hour, 10 hours, or if you stay overnight to 5 nights and you come back to your apartment, you're going to have to be quarantined for those 14 days. We'll arrange all the food delivery like normal. We'll have calls. You can place orders, or you can circle it and put it outside your door instead of coming to the station. We'll bring you your mail, and the clinic will check on you daily as well. But we have got to keep everybody safe. So if you have to go out to the ER or hospital stay, 14-day quarantine. We know most everybody that goes out to the ER or has a hospital stay because the clinic's notified and we send a staff member or a family member knows. However, if you would happen to call 911 on your own, or if your daughter or son or grandson or anybody would call for you to come to Springmore, they pick you up, we may not know of that whenever you return. So I'm asking you to please let us know if you go to the ER or if you go stay in the hospital. So the good thing is we got a lot of good neighbors here that watch out after each other. So I'll even extend this recommendation to any of your neighbors. If you see or know someone that's out at the hospital or out of the ER, I'm talking about a hospital stay, not just going to a doctor's appointment or an outpatient quick procedure, to an outpatient provider, to let us know so we can get the clinic involved. during that time, if during the 14-day quarantine, we're not going to provide full housekeeping services. We're going to provide something called BB&T. That's a little acronym we used last time, which is silly, but it's kind of clever, and it helps you remember bed, bath, and trash. So once a week, we'll, if you want us to, you don't have to, but we will come in and change your linens. We will clean your bathroom, and then we'll get your trash out. So, that's we would do very minimal. Anybody coming in, a housekeeper would have full PPE on, protective equipment, personal protective equipment, which consists of a mask, a gown, and gloves. So we're trying to conserve those, but they will be wearing those if they have to come in and do any kind of housekeeping services to your apartment. Terry will coordinate that if that happens. So no need to worry about it until it does. Just be assured you can get all the services that you normally have. You just have to be quarantined to your apartment, house, or villa. The next part is the Stewart Health Center. So same rules kind of apply here. If you're an independent living resident and you get sent out to the ER, or if you get sent to the hospital and you're discharged back to the health center, the good news is you're going to get a private room. The bad news is you got to quarantine yourself for 14 days. So we are identifying private rooms. We're keeping those open for anybody that has to go to the hospital and return to the Stewart Health Center. So again, if you're independent living and you come back to an order to stay, you'll be in a private room for 14 days. Not going to be charged anything extra, obviously, but just wanted to just say that. But you have to be quarantined for 14 days in your room. If you are a resident of the Stewart Health Center and you are in a semi-private room and you get sent out to the ER, or if you get sent out for a hospital stay and come back, the same thing will apply. You will come back to a private room and have to be quarantined for 14 days. Obviously, if you're in a private room already and you come back to a private room, you'll come right back. We'll have to quarantine you for 14 days. Again, the nurses will be able to come in and out. The CNAs will get you your food. We'll have activities, provide as much stuff as they can to you. We'll still try to provide any of the talking to families, which we're working on, and as much as we can. But it will be a quarantine period. And again, that's just very best practices of trying to prevent the spread of any disease, of any possible contamination if you're exposed to it in any way. We have no idea if you go to the ER or the hospital, or if you are exposed to it, but there's just a greater risk when you do enter a hospital. So those are some implementations and precautions that we've implemented some precautions to put in place, to try to keep everybody safe. We do have a large amount of personal protective equipment, which we call PPE, consists of gowns, masks, and gloves. We are continuing to get that in, and we're calculating if we had a case or 2 cases or 3 cases, how many times we would have to enter your room in the health center and how many we'd go through a day and a week and a month. So I feel really good where we're at right now with what we have on hand, and we'll be receiving some more this Friday. So a lot of times when that happens, you have to, change that out every time you go in a room. And that could be up to numerous times a day with a CNA or a nurse coming to check on you, give your medicine, help with any ADLs or anything of that nature. So, but we have plenty of that on hand, so I would not worry about that at the time. Lastly, if you do leave Springmore for an extended period of time to go on a leave of absence to a family member's house, or if you have to leave for something, we ask that you do the same quarantine precautions of any other resident that went to the hospital. We have one resident's returning back from another state and flying back. They've already been informed that they have to be screened, have to be quarantined in their apartment. So we will start that, I think as early as tomorrow with one resident. So we're just doing that moving forward, and we feel good about that. So again, just trying to be as proactive as possible with this stuff without totally having you live in a prison, which is, I know sounds silly, but it's kind of how I think the world feels at the moment, of not being able to do a lot and have a lot of freedom. And again, we're trying to provide a quality of life while keeping y'all safe, and it's a fine line and a hard balance on that. So thank you again for your understanding and patience. So with that, I will take any calls or questions that y'all may have, and I will follow this presentation up with a memo to recap. I'll try to get that out today. If not, it will be tomorrow morning, but I'll try to get that out with kind of what we did last week. So if you have anything, Mr. Sakaris? All right, so the question was, when was it? Thank you, Daniel. I got two wonderful assistants here today, Daniel Sakaris, who's over IT, and Brad Dilday, our strategic partner, strategic projects director, and Juliana is watching here in the audience. So I think the parlor lock where you went to? Did you try to go to one of the parlors and it was locked? No. Okay, I heard you said you were going to, yeah. Yeah, no, good. Juliana said she was going to go to a parlor to watch it, and I forgot to tell her that it may be locked. So anyway, so the question was, getting back to the question, when will the new menu cycle be up, and when will it be and when will it be taken down? So the new menus will be available tomorrow, which is Thursday at 11 a.m., and they will stay up for 24 hours and taken down, and they'll be collected Friday at 11. So you have, am I right, Daniel, on that? So it's going to be up on the portal, and all the hard copies will be in the central location starting tomorrow, which is Thursday at 11 o'clock, and they'll be collected Friday at 11 o'clock. Yeah, so the question was, is it okay to gather in the elevator lobby or common areas? Yeah, I mean, I can't, like I said, I can't police that. I know you got to come get your mail. We made staggered times. I realize you got to come to the convenience store. I realize you got to get on and off the elevator. I understand it's impossible not to be at a gathering. What I am trying to do and what I've had to stop is scheduled gatherings. So exercise classes, any kind of card groups that were scheduled. Again, I hate to do that, but I've got to restrict the areas where people could gather and stop all the scheduled gatherings. But yes, gatherings of a couple of people are going to happen. Just be mindful, just to kind of keep your distance and just not stay in that area for a long time is my best advice to you. Yeah, that's a great question. So we had somebody ask, are the walking paths still accessible around the campus? And yes, they are. That is something I would encourage y'all to do. I know on the weekend, my family and the kids spend a lot of time outdoors. I have never in my life seen so many people walking and running in my entire life. Makes me feel really lazy and terrible because I want to go home and just sit down and do absolutely nothing. But, I mean, I must pass, I'm not kidding you, 100 people in a 2-mile radius of walking and running, which is great, getting people out. So I encourage you, yes, get out, walk, get some fresh air, use the walking trails, use this beautiful landscape we have. We got some new landscape areas. I could tell you where they're at, but maybe you can find them on your walk, and then we can talk about them whenever we all get back together. So, yeah, please use the outdoors of Springmore. We're very, very thankful this time of year, especially during this time, to have a beautiful 42-acre campus to walk around. So the question was, apparently there was a false fire alarm last week, and wanted to know if you should lock your doors when you go out for that. I would advise you to lock your door anytime you leave your apartment. We want to think Springmore's a safe place, but I would lock your door. Fire drill, going to get your mail, anything, anytime. So yes, I'll continue to lock your doors anytime you leave, especially during a fire drill. So the question was the grocery carts at the entrances. How will you get those in and out? The grocery carts will still be there. So you're going to have to open the doors to get them open. Again, I'm very sorry for that, but that's what we have to do. If you go shopping, I'm going to go as bold as say if you want to come to the front desk and drop them off there and then have a guard deliver them to your apartment, I would do that. The sliding glass door going into the little holding area before you go out will be open, so it will slide open where you can get the cart, but you're going to have to open the door manually, and it can, and shut it back, load up the grocery cart, and then take it back in. Again, it's not perfect. There's no perfect solution to any of this stuff. So again, just have to manually do it, or go around to the front, or and drop it off and have the guard take it to your apartment. Maybe another alternative. So somebody, the question was asked if I consider going to the media or the newspaper about the mail issue. I have not. Somebody said that they were going to send that. I think it was Miss Peg Bedini actually. It's going to send it to the 5 on your side. I think the lady's Monica or something. I can't remember her name, but so I think she was going to do that. It's not for a lack of trying. I think I told you this last time. I called the post office here in North Raleigh at Strickland Road. Again, I thought the cable provider people were bad when you're trying to pay your bill. I mean, the lady at the post office was awful. So, I can see if we can put some time into that to try to get. I just know that I've went to the postmaster. I've went to the congressman. I don't want to give up on it, but I have not done that yet, but I'll definitely consider that. Yeah, okay, well, that's all the questions that we have for now. Those are all great questions. Man, I was thankful to be able to answer all those. Daniel did give me the first one because I didn't know when the new menus were going to be up. Yes, so I hope that everybody kind of understands why we're having to do this and the next steps we're having to take. I understand some things are going to be an inconvenience, but again, remember, it's just to look out for your safety and kind of keep everybody as safe as possible. So I really appreciate y'all understanding that, and really, really please telling your kids and any family or friends that there's no visitors. I've got residents calling now, and I'm going to tell them now, like I'll tell them in the memo, to call the front desk, report it, and we'll just send a guard and just have them and ask them to leave. Again, I'm not going to do no trespassing, or I can't give a ticket. I know I'm being a little facetious, but we do have residents letting us know, so we'll ask them to call the front desk and have the guard go down. So anyway. All right, one more call. The question is, can you choose to not have a meal on any given day? I think for sure. I assume you just would not circle that option. So if the menu's for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and you don't circle Friday, I would assume that they would know that you don't want to eat that Friday. It will go on the report as you not getting a meal, and then you should receive a call for a wellness check. I wish Jennifer was here so I could say that 100%, but whoever this is I'm calling, I would call and ask her. But yes, I mean, you don't have to have a meal. I assume you just wouldn't circle it. Makes sense to me, and they would just not deliver it, and then should give you a wellness check. The question was for the push button access for any of the doors. I don't know the answer. If they're all locked, I don't think so. Yeah, the push buttons. Yeah, all the secondary entrances are going to be locked. So yeah, that would mean that they would not work. So if you need assistance, or if you wheelchair or anything of that nature, please, please, please utilize the guards and security. The guards are here every day. They go and do stuff, so if there's something that you need to get out or get through somewhere, please make sure that you utilize security and the guards to help you with that. Again, it's not a perfect solution, but it's if we get a case and we lock all the doors, it's going to be even worse, hard lock. So at least there's an option to get in and out. It's just going to take a little more effort, unfortunately, or fortunately. So the question was, if somebody is fortunate enough to have a ground floor apartment, can the residents sit on the porch and have family members come and visit? Again, I would strongly discourage that, but again, I can't police everything. It's got to be at a 6-foot distance. Yeah, I can't stop you from going outside. If you have the luxury of having a ground floor balcony, that's great. So people can come up and talk to you. They can give you things. So so I would say that I can't stop that. I would probably not encourage it, but especially sitting on the balcony so close. But maybe in the grass and sitting on the balcony. I mean, I get it. You want to see your kids or your grandkids. I would be the same way. But yeah, I would say I would discourage it, but do it very safely if somebody comes and visits. Because I can't, if you want to go out to the parking lot and get something out of your car or get something that your daughter or son drops off, I can't stop you from that no more than I can stop anybody, nor do I want to, from going to the grocery store. So so that's just, again, it's just follow best practices and with that. That's all I can really say on that. All right, thank y'all. Again, I really do appreciate it. I'll follow up with a memo with all these things for anyone that did not get to tune in today, and then Daniel will have it up on the portal as soon as he can, and we will see y'all back here next Tuesday. And if you need anything, we're here for you, and thank you for all you continue to do for us and bless us with a job every day. The unemployment numbers continue to rise. I hear horror stories, people not being able to pay their mortgage, or, they're going as far as letting, utility companies not cut off your utilities for 2 months because so many people are out of work. It's crazy. And I am just thankful to have a job to come to every day where I can not only get paid and pay for my family and take care of my family, but also care for y'all, which is very meaningful work. So it's like full circle, Without y'all, we wouldn't have this opportunity to come to work every day. So anyway, thank y'all, and we're here to help at any time you need us.